Welcome to Obstacle Running Adventures.
Also, that they have Anthony, who's not even 3 yet. So to cross the pond with a pregnant lady and a small
Right.
child is not easy. So we were going to be his like support crew. And that slowly evolved over time. And then I did Atlanta Toughest and was very interested and intrigued by potentially competing at World's Toughest Mudder. So the thoughts of potentially going in as an individual were there at first. And then obviously, Kev, and he's willing to one race almost anything, but also if it's in a teams format, that's like his bread and butter.
Hmm.
So he was like, I would race it, but if it's teams. So we just kind of threw it together. We signed up and we jumped into teams. I would say somewhat last minute, like maybe 2 months before World's Toughest Mudder, we like decided we were going to actually compete.
Hmm.
So a little bit of like spontaneously just happened to be there because it was in the cards and it was a plan originally to be like in England and across the pond, and then it just like evolved to be competing.
No, and that makes sense because I always wondered how did that happen? Because like Kevin can perform at a high level. I know you can perform at such a high level. Like what was the like, oh, we should do this together and see what we can do. So that's
Definitely.
fascinating. What was it like watching Joe like just dominate the course?
I just immediately got chills when you said that. It was one of the coolest experiences as a spectator and as a friend because I mean, just to watch in general, I think all the people who were tuned in to World's Toughest Mudder that weekend were pretty in awe of his performance and how much of a gap he created early and just his consistency lap to lap and mile after mile. So I think people in the OCR space and that were watching World's Toughest Mudder were definitely appreciative of that performance. But from my perspective, Joe and I grew very close probably around the October, November timeline before DECA Worlds.
Okay.
And then from there, it was like, seeing inside of his brain. So our conversations day to day, seeing his training, seeing how many hours he puts in and just all of the inner workings and his lifestyle and how detail oriented he is and dedicated. And then to watch it all just like transpire in real time was breathtaking. And
Hmm.
then to be able to go out with him on that last lap was probably so far a top 3 moment for me this year. Like just overall with all the events that we've done and competed in throughout the year, like that's something that's going to definitely like stick with me forever. Like
Hmm.
just crossing like walking through the start chute and everybody's cheering and they're like, one more lap. And like, it's just me, Joe, and Kev walking out there. Like, that's a memory I'll never forget. And we just, I
Hmm.
mean, obviously from the live stream, I think a lot of people saw like we just walked the whole time, just
Yep.
talked like and just enjoyed the final lap after 20 almost 25 hours of World's Toughest Mudder. So it was so incredible.
Yeah. No, and watching it, did he lap you at all? Like, were you able to? No.
No, so I almost caught him at one point. So I think it was around 3 a.m. There's a video that Jess took, and it's of Joe and Kevin leaving the start chute together on a lap. Like Joe was in the pit area, and I came in to hand off to Kev, and they go out, and I come through like the pit area, and I say to Jess, like, "Oh, like 2 more minutes, and I would have caught him, and he would have been
Right.
toast." Like just messing with them. So I didn't see him on course at all for the entirety of the event. But as we started to near the cutoff mark, we, as like a collective, both Jess, Anka, and Kev and I were kind of all on the same page of there were kind of two scenarios. It was either Kevin and I were going to wait, like not go back out for a lap and just wait for Joe to come in, depending on what the timing looked like,
Hmm.
or we were going to run one more lap and try to essentially meet up with him to then go out for the last lap. So we had that in our minds that pretty much Kevin and I were going to stop our race when the opportunity presented to go out with him for that last lap. Um, because kind of as the race developed, developed and he continued to grow his lead. Of course, he was still moving with intention and like his laps didn't drop off or anything, but we also knew we would have had the opportunity to do that because the quote unquote race itself slowed down. He wasn't in like a battle where he was going to need to quick pit. He was going to really need to get out on that lap. So we knew that we could kind of time it well, take our time in the pit area, and then all go out together for that final lap. So it developed as the night went on and as Joe did his thing. And being able to do that was such an awesome experience, like to cap off kind of the whole World's Toughest Mudder experience in itself.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I unfortunately missed you guys finish. At that point, I was like in my like metal blanket, like on the floor, like a baked potato. But
I don't blame you one bit.
I've watched the live stream a few times, and it's just to see the three of you and the photo is like, like definitely a photo finish for the three.
One of them, like you said, I know it's a podcast, but one of them is up here right behind me. The one of us three, like kind of in that V shape crossing the finish line. It's somewhere on my wall right there. So.
I love that. Yeah, no, that's incredible. And then did you have like a favorite obstacle at World's Toughest Mudder?